Subtracting polynomials. This is a more likely test question. And if you're subtracting polynomials, typically they'll be separated with parentheses. Okay, so for example, if you just look at this first example here, we have 6 plus 14 minus 9x plus 5. So what we want to do is, before when we were adding subtractions, we could just combine along with the sign in front. That's essentially the same thing we're doing here, but it's really helpful to rewrite the second set of parentheses by reversing the sign of each of the terms. So if we look here, we have 6x plus 14. You can just copy that down, 6x plus 14. But when we're minusing 9x plus 5 here, we're minusing 9x, and we're minusing 5. We can't just attach it to this first term. It has to be applied to every term in the second set of parentheses. Okay? We have more example problems we'll go through. But now, once you drop the parentheses, now you can do what you've been doing by adding polynomials. So really here we're just combining like terms now. So I have 6x minus 9x. That gives me negative 3x. And 14 plus a negative 5 gives me a positive 9. Okay, so negative 3x plus 9. So in this case, when I distributed this minus through, it's really just flipping these. Instead of a positive 9x, it's now negative. Instead of a positive 5, it's now a negative 5. Okay. Let's look at this one. So I have this first polynomial, in this case a trinomial. We can just record that down. And then we want to distribute this negative through. So this will be negative 5x squared and a negative 12x and a negative 7 because they're all positives in here. So the signs just all flip to negatives. So we have 19x squared minus 5x squared gives us 14x squared. 9x minus 12x gives us a negative 3x. 16 minus 7 gives us a positive 9. All right, this next one we have this minus this polynomial here. So again, it's really good practice just to rewrite it. I know when you guys start practicing in IXL, you'll want to just kind of find a shortcut, and I really encourage you to write it down, because if you write it down when you're practicing, hopefully you'll write it down when you're actually taking your test. So again, we need to distribute this negative through. So this kind of goes back to our integers knowledge again. If you're minusing a negative 6x squared, if you take away a negative, you're really adding that. Right? If I take away a debt, I no longer have the debt, I gain that back. Right? So here, minus a negative 5x, again, would be a positive 5x. And minus a negative 18 would actually be a positive 18, or we're adding 18. Let's combine like terms like we did before. So here we have 11x squared, 7x and 5x is 12x. Negative 14 plus 18 is a positive 4. So 11x squared plus 12x plus 4. These two here would be likely GED questions. Okay. So if I'm subtracting this polynomial from this, I'm actually starting with this and then taking this away. So the wording's a little bit different here, right? Subtract this polynomial from this. So I'm first going to start off by just rewriting it. Minus this first polynomial. So pause the video if you're having a hard time wrapping your head around that. If I'm subtracting this from this, I start with this negative 3x squared and then take this away. Just a little sidebar here. If I subtract 5 from 10, mathematically, if I were to write an expression that's subtracting 5 from 10, I start with 10 and then take 5 away. So same idea. I'm subtracting this from this, so I want to start with this polynomial. So let's just rewrite it. Let's drop our parentheses, distribute our negative. So we have minus 8x squared minus 2x A negative and negative is a positive 6. Combine like terms. So negative x squared, negative 3x squared, negative 8x squared is negative 11x squared. We have 1x minus 2x is a negative 1x. And negative 4 plus 6 is a positive 2. Just so you know here, this negative 1x, remember, it's as if that 1's not there. So especially like multiple choice on the test, it would look like so. We just get rid of that 1. But just know, as long as you know those are equal, I'm happy. Both options won't be available for a multiple choice. All right, go ahead and try this next one on your own. Pause the video if you'd like. But I'm subtracting this polynomial from this. So again, I'm starting with this one. So 2x squared plus 3x minus 4, all in parentheses, minus, parenthesis, negative 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. So drop the first set and distribute your negative through. So a negative, you could view this like a negative times a negative. It's a positive 3x squared, or minus a negative. Really, you could view that either way. Here, minus a negative 5x is really adding 5x. And minusing 2 is really minusing 2. Right? A negative and a positive give us a negative. Combine our terms. I have 2x squared plus 3x squared, 5x squared. Positive 3x, positive 5x gives me a positive 8x. Negative 4 and negative 2, if I were to combine those, give me a negative 6.